Well, hello. Look, I got lights. They're multiplying. Yes, I've got lights. So we're really starting to get professional now. It's time to get serious. That's not time to get serious. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me. And we're going to have a little bit of fun and we're going to catch up with some stuff and we're just going to have a real good time. So, hello and welcome back. So, I said last night that I was going to be on early today. This is the only time I've been on. Let me tell you a story time with Joe. I got a phone call at 6 o'clock this morning from my mother. And usually when my mother rings me at 6 a.m. in the morning, it means there's a problem. And she goes, we need your help. Now, I also knew that if I hear the words, we need your help, it means something's happened to my dad because my dad's the driver. So my dad, don't know what happened, but somehow something happened to his eye yesterday and it got worse overnight and it was really swollen and yucky and he was in a lot of pain. So I actually ended up taking him to the emergency department at 6 a.m. this morning or 7 a.m. this morning and then waited with mum because I couldn't go in. I had to leave him and run. And then 4 hours later, he said he got in to see the doctor and he's got an ulcer on his cornea. So, and it's going to be with drops. So he can't see properly. Mum can't walk. So between the two of them, Mum said, she said between the two of them, they've got a set of good eyes and a set of legs. So the doctor said that he's going to go back on Saturday, and so it looks like I've got an 8 a.m. visit to the. I've got to take him at 8 a.m. to the hospital. Harrison's good. I saw him today. He's doing well. It's school holidays, so they get a 2-week break. They had Easter, so school holidays happened over Easter, so he's still got another week and a bit of holidays, so he's really excited. Yeah. It's actually quite funny. It's really quite funny because Mum has to give Dad his drops, and the only way she can give him his drops is if he kneels down in front of her and puts his head in it. It's really quite funny to watch. Oh, hello, Peter. Welcome. So then, yeah, I keep telling the jokes to Harrison. They're great. He's loving them. So then I had to come home for something and I grabbed my laptop, which was fine because I had to do some assignment work. So I went back. Anyway, my second screen's decided not to reconnect when I got home. Yes, 9 o'clock is my usual time, Gail. That is my time. You love my family. Look, our family, we just make jokes about everything. We really don't. We just make jokes about everything because that's how we deal with stuff. I mean, the first thing my dad said was that he wasn't getting enough attention and he needed a break from all the housework as well. So, oh boy, it's so funny. But anyway, so that was my day. So my day was totally and utterly messed up. So I've set it for tomorrow. So for the live tomorrow, the new live for in the morning. So there's been a lot of stuff happen today. So today the Kardashians were in KJ's site. I don't know why she decided to do that. Hello, 123 Fake Street. How are you? It's good to see everybody coming back. I'm glad he knows how to get attention. Well, usually it's his heart. So because he's got a pacemaker now. Yeah, so it's usually when he needs attention, his heart goes funny. So at least it's his eye. It's enjoying the jokes because, oh, cool. That's really cool. Thank you. Yeah, so if you could subscribe and like this videos. I'm wondering whether YouTube's unsubscribing people. I seem to be losing 1 or 2 subscribers a day. I don't know whether that's YouTube or whether people are just sick of me and they just want a break. But just check to make sure that you are subscribed. So because I've got one screen, this is going to be a little bit harder for me to navigate. So I apologize in advance. If I don't get this right. So we're going to look at Instagram first. Now, I don't know whether you can see me or not because I can't see anything now. So normally what happens is that normally what happens is that I can see what's happening, but I can't see anything. YouTube is deleting some of my comments on your video. Oh, are they? Who wants to be sick? I don't know. I think I'd get sick of myself. I know. They do have real money. All right, so I'm going to try this again because, as I said, when I share it, I can't see literally what I'm doing. So we see, well, you and what you are sharing. Oh, cool. That's good because I can't see a thing. So this was a post from this morning, and I can't see any comments this way either. So I apologize if I don't acknowledge any comments. Khloe Kardashian is furious because the photo on the right leaked on the internet. The image has minimal editing, and she's furiously trying to get this taken down. Her brand pushes body acceptance, but for years fans have criticized her for her heavily edited photos and ever-changing face. The image on the left is a fully edited photo where you can see they pulled in her waist dramatically to create a more of an hourglass effect. I don't know why she would even be trying to achieve the look on the left when the image on the right is still phenomenal. She's worked hard for her body and there is literally nothing wrong with her. I wish we as women would use our platforms to try to promote body acceptance, which means not relying on filters or Photoshop or strategic angles to look better. The more we see ourselves real and raw, the fewer of us will feel the push to be perfect. Khloe is beautiful, and I don't think scrubbing this image will help her because in promoting self-worth and acceptance, and she said, "Don't see me, Khloe." Now, I find that really, really interesting because, cool. Don't pick, you know. I never did that. Like, oh wow. The interesting thing is, doesn't she use filters usually when she does Instagram lives? So why is she talking about real? She's talking about Khloe Kardashian looking real and showing the real her, and yet she is in fact doing what she said. You know, she uses these stupid little filters. All right, so let's have a look what else she's got here. So, all right, so that's that one. Here's another one. Khloe Kardashian has built her brand on body acceptance, yet when her assistant posted this photo, she took steps to attempt to sue anyone sharing the photo. The result? Now more people know about the photo than they would have. People are realizing that Khloe Kardashian heavily edits her photos and may not actually live by body acceptance as her brand suggests. I thought everyone knew she had plastic surgery, and I assumed everyone knew she massively photoshopped her images. I guess I was wrong. She had many people fooled. Sadly, she just owned it. She'd be getting praise instead of criticism. I believe you can't claim to stand for acceptance when you can't accept yourself. Women have flaws. Many of us have scars, stretch marks, and rolls. None of that makes us unworthy or ugly. Thinking of making a video on this. Thoughts? So she made a story about it. Then she did a video on Jill Duggar accused of controversial discipline technique. Now, I don't know. So this is interesting. I have a video about being asked for, but many of you have asked if any of the Duggar daughters blanket trained. Jill Duggar was heavily criticized when Israel was an infant after constantly posting photos of him on the floor and on a blanket. In several photos, fans noted black eyes and bruising on him. I don't know if Jill has ever publicly said if she did or not, but it is very much in the news 5 years ago. Now, So now she's talking about she's now having a go because the Duggar baby is on a 4 a.m. Hello, Sammy J. So now she's talking about the fact that Duggar babies are on a blanket on the floor. Everybody who has had children on blankets on the floor, say I. Because I know that I had my kids on a blanket on the floor. I wasn't blanket training. I just would put a blanket down because that's what I do. The other thing is I also had a playpen so they couldn't get out. I guess in KJ's mind that was prison. I put my kids in prison. I couldn't keep the playpen going because look at all of us. We all. So once again, we've got this criticism. Look, I don't know whether KJ is just jealous. Khloe has the most women would die for. Yes, Joe, and I had a blanket in the playpen. Oh, no, and I had a blanket in the playpen too because for some reason you just would put a blanket down because whether it was at the park, you put a blanket down. You just got used to putting a blanket down under your kids. Blankets can be washed, yes. My mum had me and my brothers on a blanket when we were young. I used a travel cot as a playpen. So I know what she's saying. So the whole blanket of what she's saying is blanket training is that they would get a whack if they moved. Now, I'm not advocating that. But that statement that she just said, I'll go back to it. This is really hard with one screen. Where was it? It was this one, wasn't it? Where she said this was Jill Duggar was heavily criticised when Israel was an infant after consistently posting photos on him on the floor and on a blanket. Now, I look at these photos and I go, so my kids were on blankets too. Now, if you're talking about accused of controversial discipline technique. Now, for me, I just had my kids on a blanket on the floor. That's what I did. And they got used to sitting there. They would see you put down the blanket and they knew that it was playtime. Aunt Lizzie says, hi, I want to know what KJ did with her son at that age because she sure as hell wasn't spending any time with him. Was he in the basement with the nurse? Poor V never had a normal childhood on the floor on the blanket. Michelle says I had twins, one in the playpen and one outside the pen, so they did not hit each other over their head. Oh no, I shouldn't laugh, Michelle, but that's funny. Who wants their babies on the floor? Well, that's right. Dog hair. Yeah, it was a bit of a clean surface, wasn't it? Don't blanket training help a baby to start calling you? I don't know. I don't know. But so again, she's implying that having your child on the floor is a controversial discipline technique. That's how I've interpreted it. I suspect KJ is the only person suspects blanket. Yeah. So, and as we just saw, so many of us put our babies on the floor on a blanket for no other reason that. Did anyone find out whether she actually? No, I don't know whether she did get one. So that's the next. So again, I just think that's a really dangerous precedent to imply that putting a child on the floor on a blanket is wrong. And somebody said here, so blanket training is someone says blanket training is awful, but sometimes a babysitter, put blanket down before the baby and its toys because the carpet may not be vacuumed, so they don't eat crumbs or fuzzies, and it's extra padding if they topple over. However, I'm always there engaging and playing with them as soon as they start. Anyway, so she does that. And then she says, Jill has never said she hasn't. So someone else says that they didn't think that there was anything wrong with having a child on the blanket, and she went off at them. Here you go. I always put mine on a blanket because they can be washed cleaner for a baby and keeps spit up off the carpet. I would never blanket train. So, yeah, so people are saying, or had she just put him on the floor and the floor was better than possibly rolling off this? We've all had to put a crying baby down for a reason, go to the toilet, and issue with another child. So just because you have a blanket between your child and a dirty floor that has people working on it does not automatically mean that you practice blanket training. More often than not, it means you don't want to have your baby on the nasty floor. So again, people are calling her out for that. So then she did a video. Check my stories and swipe up. Khloe Kardashian is probably going to sue me for this video. So she did a whole video on it. So she's just invited Khloe Kardashian to sue her. Come now, live, join the premiere. So she did it as a premiere. How Jim, Bob, and Michelle use blanket training to achieve blind obedience and control their kids. I don't know. So she did this as a premiere. Oh yeah. So then there was this one. So this is an interesting one. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen to this. So this follows on from last night.
Hey, you guys. My brand new video that you guys have been requesting is finally up. So I've been getting a lot of requests for a video about blanket training. And I've kind of resisted doing a whole video on blanket training. It's such an unpleasant topic. But since we've been doing more deep dives into the Duggars, I put together an entire video. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's all about blanket training. And it's parts of her book, Michelle's, where she talks about it, and then it's just talking about like the other people that are involved in it, like Michael Pearl and stuff. So if you are interested, that video now is live on my channel, so please go check it out. I'm going to be doing more deep dives on all of these different topics because I know it's like the stuff that you guys want to know about. We know
so you're going to keep invading privacy. Okay.
The tea or whatever is fun. But
trauma is not tea.
Understanding the extensive abuse that's happening in this cult is so important, and it's so important so people know, like, I'm not just after the Duggars. Like, I really want these kids and the people that are in this cult to stop using these techniques to having kids stop being abused. But so the video is up on my channel right now. And then last night I shared a video, or I shared a story about a boy in Kentucky.
Now, this is getting very interesting. So for those of you that missed last night, she told a story where the person says, I don't want you to say my name, and she ended up spilling the person's name. So now this is her backtrack on that.
And his story of being an abuse survivor at a Baptist church. And some of you guys were concerned that I said his name, but I have his permission to say his name. I actually spoke to his girlfriend after the video, after I did the live stream, and we're just going to decide what we're going to do next.
What do you mean we're going to decide what we're going to do next? You need to report it. It's quite simple. And did you go and say, I'm really sorry, I accidentally said your name? So anyway, I can't see your comments, so I don't know what you're saying.
Because she's okay with me releasing the church name, but I'm kind of apprehensive because she doesn't want me, she wants me to like not have the name and a title and this and that, and she doesn't want the church to get bombarded with hate. And I kind of feel like if you put that kind of allegation out, the church is going to get hate. So,
but you're already putting hate towards the church at the moment. So, yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm going to kind of tempt that out feel what's going on. But the gentleman in this case has given me permission to say it.
She started off by saying he was a boy. Now she's saying he's a gentleman. So what is he?
His names.
Is he a Muppet or is he a man?
So I said it last night. No, there was no doxing. People are always trying to accuse me of doxing. Everything's fine. I've had a lot of people in my inbox sharing a ton of information. Someone sent me stuff about their family being in this cult with Gwen Shamblin, Lara, who's married to Tarzan. Who knew? But I'll be looking into that. Although, we'll see. We'll see.
Because it all comes down to money, money, money. How much money can I make from them? Ooh, ooh, money, money, money. I need money.
I don't know how the cult's it's not very big. But anyways, also, if you're sending me DMs, I'm probably not going to respond. I really don't, unless you're sending me a DM like that you're a survivor of a cult or something like that, or you have information or.
Does that mean we can all DM her and say that we're a survivor of the Katie Joy cult? I'm a survivor of the Katie Joy cult.
Source for something. I'm not interacting or engaging as much on my DMs. So I know a lot of you send them and you send a lot of them. So if you are sending me DMs, if I don't respond, don't feel bad. Just so you know. All right, you guys. Bye.
Unless I can make money from you, I'm not interested in you. So then she goes, there's something about big news tomorrow, and she's talking about something about a book. Then we've got every week it's the same damn thing with her. It's getting tired. So this is about Amber Portwood. I say the same thing about somebody else. Every day it's the same damn thing with her. Now we're back on. Khloe can't post stuff like this anymore because everyone knows that she photoshops her waist to make it look thinner. I know people say she has a body dysmorphia. If that's true, she needs a therapist. No Photoshop. She needs help. But her whole damn family does. But Kris Jenner only cares about exploiting her kids for profit. Really? She literally was on live showing off the same waist. Stop hating. You can't Photoshop live. Oh, dear me. So now she's talking about Khloe Kardashian just went live to show off her body, which was really bizarre. What was weird was Kim was egging her on. These women are truly so vain and in need of attention and real mental health help. Pot kettle. Pot kettle. The live had an obvious filter on it. She stood far away in dim lighting. She was completely holding herself in. Someone else uses a filter on their lives too. Pot kettle. Pot kettle. She clearly has some deep-seated issues here. Sadly, her issues are targeting 160 million people, many young girls. Please, Khloe, just get help. Like real help. This body and facial morphing is really messing with you and sets a terrible example to your fans. Pot kettle. Pot kettle. Pot kettle. Here is her live. No one is shaming her appearance. Everyone says she looks better without the editing. For your information. Someone is jelly. And then she says, now this is interesting. Jed Duggar's new brother-in-law, full of tats, proudly LGBTQ, and somewhere Jim Bob Duggar is crying a puddle of funny tears and correcting something out of someone. I love this photo. Love his love. Now, this photo proves that everything that she says is wrong because this is a brother and sister. Who cares what he is? Brother and sister sharing a moment, and it proves that he hasn't been shunned like the narrative. I mean, that photo doesn't fit her narrative. So then she's got Khloe breaks her silence. I honestly hope she gets help. Pot kettle, pot kettle, pot kettle. So that's Instagram. All right, so I haven't seen anything for a while. So let me go back. So I'm sorry if I haven't said hello to you. So it has nothing to do with discipline then. I'm confused. Sammy J. It's supposed to be, she's saying being on a blanket is discipline training, but I'm saying that she's implying that if you put your kid on a blanket, you put a blanket down, then, you know, you put, yeah. Blanket training is a thing with Mormons. I didn't realize the Duggars were Mormons. Oh, is that blanket training to do with Mormons? For me, you put your kids on the blanket. I just asked my mum, she did this with me. She said yes, and it does help baby start crawling. Okay. What I loved was the walker and saying, yeah, that was, yeah, it's funny. My mum actually made a special blanket quilt for the floor for our son. It was padded. Having a child on the blanket, lifting their head. Well, that's right. So what I'm saying is that what she said was Jill Duggar got criticism for posting pictures of her child on the blanket. And I'm saying that you can't, just putting your child on the blanket is not abusive. But that's not the impression she's given with my niece. We never did it for discipline. It was just to play. Well, that's right. Lawsuits are the best promotion advertising. Yeah, I think so. To get wage, they would have blankets on the floor. Well, that's right. Or mats. Hello, Ballistic. For the kid went down, the dog would go over and take the toy. Yeah. The up-talking kills me. She's over 40. Yeah, I know. I was a single mum. I couldn't have physically held him all day, and my floor's always clean. The sun has eaten. Deep diving, yes. Linda says Toad probably had video on playing, but she probably just didn't know that she was probably doing research. Maybe. I've got 3 kids and never heard of blanket training. Putting your babies on a blanket on the floor was just normal. Oh, I thought it was normal. So it looks like that there is some type of blanket training that involves some type of discipline. However, I don't know about it, but I don't like the implications that that putting your child on the floor is automatically blanket training. Every time you see us, says Phyllis. KJ is also implying, if not saying, that blanket training is a religion. Oh, yes, she's sort of doing that. Hello, randomly Willow. Great. She said this, that she wouldn't be releasing any information such as where, dates, and names, and then she did all of this. She did, and now she's justified it again, and she again said Kentucky, and she said that he was a boy, and then she said he was a man. Then says that they're okay with it. Then says that she reached out to them. She probably went and said, oh, I accidentally said your name. But, I mean, yeah. She's not responding because now she's saying, oh, it's not doxing. Right. Man, KJ is body and needs to stop. Blanket training has nothing to do with religion. Knock her off her soapbox. KJ just doesn't need a therapist. She needs to be locked up and have the key thrown away, says Claire. Hello, police wife life. Those poor pots and kettles. Oh, yeah. Khloe has an amazing body and she worked hard to get her. I'm not a Kardashian fan, but I have eyes. Well, and don't forget, doesn't KJ use filters on all her Insta lives? Or she was, you know, she had those little flowers in her hair. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. She's contradicting herself. Then the girlfriend didn't want names. And yes, that's right, everything. Yeah, I can't believe how out of context she has taken it. She's dangerous, a predator of her life, so she made all these claims about churches the other night and it didn't break. I know, it's bizarre. KJ hates any church, any organisation. I'm not talking about the cults, I'm talking about Catholic brothers. Wow, we're about to watch her Catholic one. Because, and I'm not Catholic, so but she's saying that to stop being a Catholic, she has to write to the Vatican. I mean, that seems to be very far-fetched to me. And I was going to research that too. Hello, Crescendo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, and I just lost where I was. Oh, she's Fruit Loop. Blanket training is making the kids sit on the blanket. They aren't allowed off. That's not what most people do. No, that's not what most people do. Yeah, I know, Gail. It seems very bizarre. Just asked my mum about blanket training. She said she got me and my brothers to relax with some toys to play with. Okay. So it's not. Hello, Robin. Does anyone else feel that? Yes, I often do. She's moving to her snark to a list of celebrities. She's gotten away with all to be grade and below. Yes, she is actually. I'm a survivor of my cult was called Without a Crystal Ball. That's right. Crescendo, thank you very much for the super sticker. KJ doesn't like strong women, says Ballistic. Oh. Claire says she got suspended on Twitter for calling her stupid and a moron. Wow. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And then she made the second channel. Is she going mad and saying whatever she wants before Tidy Rick files and doesn't care about an extra lawsuit or two, just get them all at once? Oh, thank you, Crescendo. We're doing great. Okay, so I've now caught up with all everybody's chats. So as I said, it's really bizarre. Does the Pope have it? I don't know. Sarah loves donuts. So we're going to watch that. So we watched the end of it last night, but we're going to watch the first bit of it. And this is where she talks about her grandparents being abusive and her grandmother blaming her for her grandfather's death because she left the Catholic Church, and the fact that she bought her grandparents' house and her grandfather was very proud of her. So let's have a look. So there is a bit of a trigger warning on this because she goes, I need to give you another trigger warning, and I won't be able to see this. I've got 91 people in chat. Hello, 91 people. Hello. Oh, and my lights just fell down. My lights just fell down. I just wondered what had happened. Oh. See, my lights can't cope with KJ either. My lights can't cope with them. Yeah, well, I'd like to see what the Pope's going to do when she finally writes to him and resigns from the Catholic Church. So, Aunt Lizzie says that's interesting because her house is in her dad's name. That's, yeah. Maybe she's trying to be funny again. No. Well, I mean, is the Pope going to say, oh, no, KJ's leaving. KJ's leaving. How am I going to survive? How do I get through one night without you? You should black ladies. I don't know how she gets away with it. How do I live without you? Is that what the Pope's going to do? It'll be an international holiday when KJ resigns. All right, so now we're going to get into here. We're going to look at this. Wait on. All right, so this is our... Okay, so again, I can't see you all, so you're going to just have to... I'm going to have to just assume what you're commenting on. Okay, so here we go. This was her live yesterday.
Hi, guys. Hi. Hello.
Hello there. Hello there. Oops, that's the wrong video.
Evening, everyone.
Hello there.
Right now, I should have up, but I'm down. Hi, guys. Hi. Hello.
Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Is there any sign of intelligent life?
Hi. Hello. Hi.
So we're going for 20 seconds, 19 seconds, and we've said one word over and over again.
Hi. I'm just finishing my last video.
Oh, finally, we've said a sentence.
It is always so hard for me to get motivated on Mondays. You guys get the case of the Mondays. I always get the case of the Mondays. Did not help. It was like thundering and lightning here last night. We had a huge hailstorm, like massive hailstorm. Like the whole house felt like it was getting like bombarded by hail. And my dog was freaking out. She was like shaking on the floor. My son was having a hard time sleeping. I was having a hard time sleeping. So I had a hard time waking up today. Then I was tired, so I didn't want to do anything because I was tired from waking up all night. The IBLP you have has been, it's Tuesday. Oh my God. See, I don't even know what day it is.
And what happened to the other dog? Doesn't she have two dogs? So one dog was okay in the storm. And what about her husband? How was her husband?
Tuesday. I'm having a hard time getting it together, whether it's Monday or Tuesday. Like, that's how tired it is.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me. Poor Katie.
No, I'm not cooking. It's a fan. I'm hot. I'm in a room. I think our roof is fine. I'll look later. The hail wasn't that big. Our roof isn't that old.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Just looking at how bad the storm was, and now she's going, oh, but the roof isn't that old and the hail wasn't that big. So how bad was the storm then?
It is Tuesday, I know. See, I don't even know what day of the week it is. Every day is the same day for me. And it's spring break for my son, so I think that doesn't help because he's not in school. So
wasn't he homeschooling anyway? He wasn't in school. Hang on. He wasn't going to school anyway. He was schooling at home. So how does that change? Somebody tell me that. Hey? Hang on. Wow, you guys have been busy. Please take a bag of gifts from our sponsors. Sing it. Reporter. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can't see. We're talking about ourselves. Hello. Please stick to what you know. It is weird, isn't it? There was no hailstorm in the area. Actually, I was hoping Rick was going to be on. I was going to ask him if there was any hail. Spoke to Guru leaving Catholic Church, and you did have to write to the Vatican once, not now. You go to the parish priest who will counsel you and then goes up from there, but the Vatican don't care about KJ. She doesn't know because Toad in a grown-up bed. It rained. What the heck? I don't know why she does that. Michelle says, writing to the Vatican and the Pope stopped in the 60s. Welcome to the 60s. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Speaking of Toadie's conspicuous by his absence, where is he? I think you'll find he's making guitars. No. All right, so let's go back to that now. Let's go back to that. So we're only a minute. Oh, no, wait on. Yeah, we're only a minute in, I think.
see, I don't even know what day of the week it is.
Oh, who cares?
Went to like 13 different churches.
Well,
I've been doing more of this deep dive into the IBLP, the IFB, that kind of thing. And I've been getting so many emails and DMs from people from the IFB or the IBLP that are like recovering or have like escaped, women that were forced into marriages that they didn't want to be in, that they finally left. I just have this long email I need to read about a son of a pastor that got beaten up by his dad that was in the IFB, that went to like 13 different churches. I spent the morning talking to my source that was in the IBLP and worked with Bill Gothard, knows the Duggars, and went to Alert Academy and all that stuff.
Hang on a minute. Didn't she say she was slow getting moving, but then she's saying that she's done all this work? What on earth?
Through their trauma and their problems. And
why does she keep sniggering? Why does she keep sniggering?
Man, you guys, like, I know when I opened this can of worms that it was going to be like a lot. And I knew that when I opened up the opportunity for people to contact me, it would be probably for a lot of people like the first time someone is listening to them and hearing them. And it's overwhelming that you guys are trusting me with your stories. I am so grateful that you're sharing. I am overwhelmed with the pain and the abuse that you've gone through. I am heartbroken that this happens in America. I am sad that this child abuse and human trafficking by arranging marriages is even a thing.
Human trafficking is not about arranging marriages. Hi, Tanya. Todd's busy being Kev. I've not wondered about that. Hey, Gail, do you remember Big Kev? Robin, she's writing a strongly worded letter. Oh, no. Trust, hello. Does anyone know? No, I don't know if the stories are true. Leave your hair alone. KJ, you don't even know what it's like to be a decent human. KJ, you are reading Why We Have Abortion. No one wants to pop out. Says Claire. She thinks her hair is super long now. Must be thinkable. Let it go. Biggest mistake those people will ever make is trusting her. Yes. Hello, Catherine. I just got here. Did you see that? Yes. LER, I've got that stuff. That's what I've got. LER, I will be going through that Twitter stuff. Yeah, I've got it. But I've actually redacted all the names out of it because I don't want to name the ex and I don't want to name the parties. So I've actually spent some time redacting all of that information. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with that today. All right, so let's get back. Speculation is that it's a sock from you know who. Well, that's interesting. Hello, Erin L. It's very interesting, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hang on. You do not have to contact the Pope and ask that I was born and raised Roman Catholic. I'm now Christian, born again. Oh, she'd have a full day with me. I'm divorced. Whoa. Hello, Catherine. You're a busy watcher? Nice. Well, welcome.
It's disgusting that people in power have used the Bible in such a way to hurt people. And it's hard because I get more messages from people that are leading or have been stuck in this. And I have all these people that want to speak and everyone is scared. And so when people yammer at me and they yell and they say, why are you talking about the Muslim faith or these other groups? Because right now, if I were to open up other areas, I wouldn't be able to give attention to all of these people now who feel like they have a space and a...
No, because the Muslims would absolutely crucify you. Let's be honest. You're going for what is the easy target. That's why.
Place to share. And in order for me to do a good job and to deliver the message in a way that can reach people that are still in this cult and maybe give them a positive place to come to and realize that it's safe to share and to bring their stories forward?
No, you just outed people. And from what you're about to say about your own grandparents, I think that's quite bad too.
I can't muddy the waters by adding more. It's not my job to speak on other cults. It's not my responsibility to shine light on other cults.
Well, yes, it is, because if you're an advocate of women and you are supporting women, then you support women regardless of wherever they're from. You support women and you're protecting women from every part of life, regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their status. You either support all women or you don't. Now, so if you supported all women, you would be exposing all of it. But no, we don't do that. We go for the easy targets. We go for the ones that we know that aren't going to say anything back, and the ones that are going to make us money, money, money.
There are so many people that speak about Scientology. There are so many people that speak about, people leaving very strict Muslim faiths. There are so many people that speak about women that are leaving Orthodox and Hasidic Jewish populations. There's not a lot of people that focus on the IBLP. There's just not. And when I talk to people, the biggest thing I hear is that nobody sees us. Nobody talks about us.
Really? That's funny. Because you know what? In Australia, they did a royal commission into child sex abuse from institutions, and they just didn't do the church. They did government institutions. They did various churches. They did various organizations. They all went religious, and they discovered that it was very bad in a lot of places. So people are talking about it. And you know what? You'd be best to seriously rally your government into doing an investigation and calling all of it out. Not just the part that's going to make you the most money. I'm just going to stop this for a minute because I'm getting aggro. I'm getting aggro. Okay, sorry. So let's look at some comments here. Yeah. Have we seen? No, we haven't seen the Duggar blanket yet. Yeah, this was yesterday's one. So this was also on. I think this was the second one. Oh, there was two yesterday. She went on live lots of times yesterday. KJ has nothing in her name or husband's name because of the lawsuits. That widow apparently commented on one of my choice. No, it did, wasn't it? Please don't yammer at Catherine. She cannot be trusted. The letter won't even come close to the Pope. KJ spews on cults all the time. Who's she talking about? She's talking about, she's trying to say why she focuses on the Duggar's religion. She's the one who has been non-stop bringing up all these different cults. So when your subs ask you to expose them, that's the response. Yeah. Well, and we're not certain yet, but she's saying that she's the only one. She's saying, yeah, leaving populations. Hey, Peter, I went over. Well, we'll see what happens, eh? Dee, I was watching her live and stopped because it's much better reviewing lives with you, Joe. Welcome back. Thank you, Dee. Hey, Tamara. An investigation will take the time. Well, that's right. But, like, she keeps saying, like, because she's reading comments. Well, that's right. Well, she's trying to see who's jumping into her lives, I guess. Yes, her first rant was about cults. Yeah, so this was her first rant, I think, because this is the Catholic Church one, and then we watched the second one where she exposed it. she does. She gets a lot more positive comments in her Instagram. So because she brought up all these different cults, her subs are asking her to expose them. Is that what? I don't know. I don't know what brought this on. Todd was out in the house on. But like for me, if you are going, you can't just expose one section, because I'm sure that section makes up a small part. Then there's another section. So together it's a big part. You know, I just think you can't focus on one area. You have to call it all out. You either call it all out or you don't. Hello, Just a Cody. Oops. Guess what's fallen down again? My lights aren't liking my lights aren't liking this, are they? Maybe I need to be a little bit tougher with them. Huh? Oh dear. All right. So let's go back to it. Oh, I'm already aggravated. Us, yes. Agreed. Just curious to what made it. Yeah, I don't know why she just said that. I don't know why she's saying, oh, people are saying you need to focus on it. But as I said, if you rally governments and get an investigation, they will discover that it's a bigger, and it's not just religions either. I put my ex-husband through graduate school first. I think she's I'm paying. Hello. I know my lights don't like me. Hello, just a Cody. Anyway, cool. It's great that you've made her live. All right, let's go back. I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm hating this one window business. This is driving me batty. We're 5 minutes in, 5 minutes 52 in, and I'm ready to scream.
Everyone's obsessed with the Duggars, and they think that everything that's going on with the Duggars is cool, and so they ignore us. But there's a huge problem here. And I'm not going to talk about the Catholics because everyone talks about the Catholics. I'm an ex-Catholic. I know what it's like to grow up as a Catholic. And it's also not my job to expose every single cult. And my interest in this cult has always been because of the massive amount of sexual abuse and child sexual abuse that happens under the guise of religion, and how the culture has been built to protect the perpetrators. And because
somebody says here, what if your child was to bring home a fundy?
Because of the complete insularness of the society and their distrust of the government, how nobody reports anything. So it's hard for me to over and over and over hear from you guys, especially those that want to shift and be gaslighters. There's a lot of gaslighters in my comments, especially people that are in the fundamentalist world that want to gaslight me out of talking about this and say I need to talk about abuse in other cults. No, I don't. I don't need to talk about abuse in any other cults, because Baptists as a whole represent 15% of the United States population in terms of faith. That's a large majority of people.
Really? 15% is a large majority. 15%. What do you reckon? When I went to school, 15% was not a large majority. Well, scream, says Diamond Crystal Arts. She's obsessed. Yeah, we know she's obsessed. Really shocked. Yes, so her first life, no one heard about her subs asking to decommission themselves, like a response to her subs. Yeah, I think so. You can't go that fast. Oh dear. Oops, it just jumped. I'm sorry. It just all jumped. So one of the Duggars running for office. I work in the addiction field. She has so many highs and lows. I don't disagree with the meds. Or if you give us, I just won't watch it. 15% by definition is a minority. Gaslight. I wish you would learn the definition. Well, Sarah loves donuts. When I went to school, 15% was a minority too. But apparently it's a majority. I have learnt the wrong thing. I'll just blame the Australian government. I've got to blame it. I wish you would too, yeah. I tell you. What she's saying is that she does not like people calling her out. And so if you call her out, you're a hater and a gaslighter. We know. All right, so let's keep going with this. So remember, 15% is a majority.
That doesn't mean all of them are fundamentalists, but there's a lot of problems in the Baptist church, and it's not just the fundies that have problems. The Southern Baptists have a huge problem right now with racism within their groups and the systemic racism and the systemic sexism. And you don't have a culture like that that has fundamentalists, yes, and not every Baptist is bad, but the culture breeds abuse because of the belief that men are superior to women.
Why does she keep sneering? And where is this whole concept coming from?
And that we shame and victim blame, right?
Really?
And this is always what I have been doing. Before I was even on YouTube, I used to just write articles about IFB pastors that molested children, because literally every single week there was another pastor in the fundamentalist Baptist world getting arrested for sexually assaulting a child. And it's like, when you start to look at the numbers and you see how many of these men are either rapists or sexual assaulters or covering up and hanging out with rapists or sexual assaulters or pedophiles, you realize that it's a way bigger problem than anyone wants to talk about. And
really? What do you reckon? What do you reckon about what she's saying? Making guitars with no strings. How can you watching the sun? Who needs according to them? Yeah, I don't know, Gail. Jean, yes, blame our government for our education there. Oh dear. Why are the Duggars okay? I think first I know one is her insider, but I don't know, just a Cody. I would love to know that. If all other religions had less than 15%, it could be, in theory, a majority. That is true, but she hasn't given us, she's saying 15% and said it's a majority, but what are the other numbers? I got 104 people watching. Hello. The way that she has said it is a minority. Like, if she said 15, if she said like there was 10% Protestant, Pentecostals, or 12% whatever, and 30% Catholics, then you could say, yeah, but that's not what she said. She just threw out a number. People who overuse the frame gaslighting, you tend to be gaslighters. KJ's atheists cult. She's so up herself, yes, and that's such an Australian term. KJ listening. Are we convicting without persecution and conviction? Yes, we are. Apparently, remember, who was it that said allegations don't mean that that's true? Statistics. Well, that's right. I want to see the data. I want to see where she's getting that information from. So just don't. If I remember catching a few. Yes. Check out the Boy Scouts, KJ. They have huge numbers of people who abuse kids. Are they a cult? Who's beat a lot? Christianity was 73.6% of the American population in 2016. So that would still mean 15% is still a minority, wouldn't it? I'm not very good at maths. 15% of 100% of all religion in US is a minority. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to make this a big screen. I just want to go get something. I'm just going to grab something while you're watching this next bit.
When people do speak out about it, like, they get silenced, right? And it's not to say that every Baptist is bad. And I feel like when you start exposing part of a cult, people that are in that world want to defend it. And sometimes the only way that you can heal if you're in a faith is to acknowledge that your faith is broken. Like, I was a Catholic, and I had to acknowledge that my church was abusing little boys. I had to acknowledge that my pastor, who was my communion, who did my confirmation. So I'm a confirmed Catholic, meaning my name is in Rome. Once you're a confirmed Catholic, they have your name in Rome, and you're like on their docket list for life. And the only way you can get removed is if you send a letter to the Vatican. It's ridiculous, or something like that. I've never even gone through the process. So according to the Vatican, I'm still technically like a Catholic owned by them in a way.
Oh, still Catholic owned by them. Really? Well, does that mean that we can get the Pope to pull her into line? Oh dear. Didn't know I tried my best. With the addition of 100 likes. Well, she never shows them. Well, she never shows them. Raised system, that switch coming from a woman who referred to someone's ranch as a plantation. Roman Catholics do not have pastors. I know that too. They're called fathers. Ron called priest. Hello, Will Clem. Isn't voodoo? Call the Pope to do an exorcism. As I said, I don't think Catherine, as a Catholic, we don't want you. Yeah, priests, not pastors, Catherine. Oh dear. We have 100 people watching. How about, yes, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed. Happen to being a God-loving. Don't know. All right, so let's go. I've just picked up my phone so I can read your comments, because I'm not liking not being able to read them.
And I had to come to terms that my faith, my priests that confirmed me molested little boys, that probably molested boys I knew. And I had to make a really tough decision. And I decided I couldn't be a part of the Catholic faith because I could not stand by an organization that allowed systemic child abuse and misogyny against women. I couldn't be in a faith that refused to acknowledge that women had a place in the church. My services growing up were so much like a lot of these fundamentalist Baptist churches. I grew up with a grandmother and a grandfather that were staunch Catholics. And a lot of Catholics do not like it when you criticize.
All right, she's going to go in. Wait, when did she become an atheist? Wasn't that long ago? She loved Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very confused about this. Now she's going to say some interesting things about her grandparents. She's now crossing a very serious line, hate crime. I can't believe that she said. I know. All right, so let's go. And Peter, that's very cheeky asking about George Pell. Asking for George Pell. Actually, he probably he wouldn't get back into Australia. So we may as well send him there.
The church, they think you are being that you're saying all Catholics are wrong. And I've never said all Catholics are wrong. Like, I have family that are Catholics. Obviously, I don't think all Catholics are wrong. I think the leadership, I think the structure, I think the way it's been put together and how it's been used throughout years to oppress and hurt people and to control is wrong. And it's no more evident in how many children have been sexually assaulted and abused by priests.
All right, so now we're saying, now she's gone from saying the Baptists done it, and now she's saying the Catholics. So Just Cody, I'm glad I got to watch part of her live. Twins up now. Have a good day from this Florida girl. Well, have a good day, Just Cody. Diamond Crystal Art says, my grandma is a strict Catholic and she will be Jehovah, what KJ is saying. Sarah Loves Donuts said in 2009 she posted that she loved Jesus. Police Wife Life says, Catherine loves nobody, including her poor son. The only way she's an advocate for is her bank account. She admitted, Aunt Lizzie says, she admitted on an IG live recently that she often exaggerates her stories to make them more interesting than they really are. So she admitted to being a liar. Peter says, don't Catholics turn the other cheek? Well, it's in the Bible to turn the other cheek. And that's what I think the Duggars are doing.
So when all of that started coming out, and when I started going and became an adult, when I was like in my early 20s, and I started realizing that literally everything that I had learned about faith was really fucked up, and I had to
Sorry, there's a swear word there. Remember, she doesn't swear.
Rip the Band-Aid off and realize how messy it was. And then my boyfriend at the time was in a cult. He was a Jehovah's Witness and he got kicked out of his cult. So mind you, I'm 18 years old. I'm learning for the first time about the mass hysteria that's going on in the Catholic Church. My boyfriend's a Jehovah's Witness who gets kicked out of the church because he's dating me and he stole a bunch of stuff.
She's not said that before. He got kicked out of Jehovah's Witness because he was dating her and he stole a bunch of stuff. I'd say he got kicked out because he stole a lot of stuff. It had nothing to do with her. But anyway. One of her about sections, Aunt Lizzie says, somewhere says she's a Jesus lover, so how can she be an atheist? Claire Murphy says, I've run out of cheeks a term when it comes to KJ. Sarah Loves Donut says that chapter was eaten by Frida. Gail says she's mad as a cut snake. Okay, so you got kicked out because of you or stealing. Joe, stop. First she said she was in her 20s, now she's 18. Which is it? Catholics also, you can steal, but since you're dating her, you're kicked out. Tanya says, I've lived in many places. Some of my neighbours have been horrible. Should I ignore all the good ones and go against everybody's neighbours? If one doesn't, their neighbour, are they against me? Maybe her boyfriend stole stuff for her, says Kelly Jones. Hello, Kelly. And Peter says, she's a stubby short of a six-pack. So again, to my mods, we're just going to let people have a little bit of freedom here because this is going to get some reactions out of people as well. So just all right, yeah.
And I'm dealing with him getting shunned from a cult. I'm dealing with leading an organization that is going to kill my grandparents, right? My mom, her parents were.
Wait on. Did she just say that they would get the Catholic that she was leaving an organization that was going to kill her grandparents? Did she just say that? Did I just hear that wrong? Did I just tell me that I heard wrong? Please, somebody tell me that tell me that tell me that I've just heard incorrectly and she just didn't say that she was leaving an organization that was going to kill her parents. Christoph Fandler, that makes me nervous when Joe warns us it's going to be bad. Hey, Kelly. I just came with this bang. Oh, dear. So tell me, that's not what she said. You misheard. 100 and people are watching. Hello. Oh, Aunt Lizzie, I did hear correctly. Oh, that's not what I wanted to know. She says her leaving killed her grandpa. That's what she says, but that's not what she just said then. Sorry, Joe, but you heard her right. Oh, dear me. Oh, dearie me. Yep, I feel that that's what she said, but my hearing isn't the best. All right, so let's 121 now. We're down to 120. I know everybody everybody's coming to see what happened on Twitter. I know everybody wants to see that stuff. We'll get to it. That's your reward for sitting through this garbage. But I think it's really important to say, to show, because she's propagating false narrative again. Like, you know. And I don't like that. All right. Hello, Kazoozles. Oh, I never caught you live. Hello, Kazoozles. There's a part of the video where she goes off about me. Yeah. But I think it was more along the lines of, if you leave, it's going to hurt your grandfather's feelings. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, so let's go back to this bit and see what happens now. Unfortunately, I've sat through this once.
It's no more evident in how many children have been sexually assaulted and abused by priests. So when all of that started coming out, and when I started going and became an adult, when I was like in my early 20s, and I started realizing that literally everything that I had learned about faith was really fucked up, and I had to like rip the Band-Aid off and realize how messy it was. And then my boyfriend at the time was in a cult. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he got kicked out of his cult. So mind you, I'm 18 years old. I'm learning for the first time about the mass hysteria that's going on in the Catholic Church. My boyfriend's a Jehovah's Witness who gets kicked out of the church because he's dating me and he stole a bunch of stuff. And I'm dealing with him getting shunned from a cult. I'm dealing with leading an organization that is going to kill my grandparents, right? My mom, her parents were everyday mass attenders. Like, they were at mass.
So, yes, she did say that. So her grandparents are everyday mass attenders. Right.
Like, they will, my grandparents, like, were the most conservative like Catholics, like, but they were like liberals. It was weird. They were Democrats. But anyways.
So she can't get through her head that her conservative grandparents were Democrats. And they can't be liberal thinking and be conservative, can you? I mean, that's a contradiction in terms. You're either ultra conservative or you're liberal. Otherwise, you're conservative.
Because back in the day, like, for some reason, like, he was in the Union. So I think back then, they've been dead for a while. Anyways, but my grandparents were Roman Catholic and very, very, like, diehard. My grandpa was, like, in the Knights of Columbus, and my grandparents were at mass every day, and they moved into a retirement home or, like, an elderly living area, and it was, like, a Catholic one, and my grandma went to mass every day. And when my grandma was on hospice, like, the priest was at her hospice room every single day. And, you know, like, same thing with my grandpa. Like, my grandpa was super involved in the Knights of Columbus, and, like, all of his Knights of Columbus guys were there. And, like, at my grandpa's wake, like, the Knights of Columbus came in and they brought their swords and they sang, and it was really emotional, and I was like bawling my eyes out. And they did this whole like thing, you know. And then I had never really left the church. I was furious because of all the stuff that started to come out. But then my grandmother, at my grandpa's funeral, mind you, because of the church, my grandparents were very abusive, you see. And my grandparents used church to be abusive to us. And
so apparently she's now saying her grandparents were abusive to her. In Instagram, she said her grandmother was abusive to her mum. So again, we're getting different stories. I'd love to speak to her brother.
They were abusive to my family. They were physically and emotionally abusive to my mother. My grandparents, just in general, were just tough hard-nosed Catholic people that grew up in the Great Depression.
But that doesn't mean because they were tough, hard-nosed, that doesn't mean that they were abusive either. I think because we sat through the Royal Commission here, we were aware of all different groups involved. I think so, Peter. As I said, we had a Royal Commission where it was discovered that there was, and there were even schools that they found. You know, it wasn't just oh, her gran was happy that she decided to live. Also, he did his job. Yeah. Wait, when did she ever become an adult? Oh. Yeah, I think they do kick them out. I think they do excommunicate. Russia isn't China. That's about that. If he was committed to it, he would have dumped her before that. Well, he would have actually, Christoph Vandalreis. In fact, he wouldn't have dated her. You would never. I've never heard of a Jehovah's Witness dating someone that wasn't a Jehovah's Witness without them wanting to convert them. He thinks she's the queen of YouTube sitting there trembling. A whole thing. What's the point of her story? She's contradicting herself. She's jumping all over the place. She's correct high wind whispers. Her lies make it sound like it happened overnight. Brother is on Facebook. Really, Tracy? I think she's confusing church with personal faith of her grandparents. I think that's a very good point, Wilcom. How come everybody abused her? I think the reason she hates... Yeah, I don't know. Linda, hello, Linda Zimmerman. Looks like KJ confuses discipline with abuse. Well, and that's the thing. That is the thing. There's a difference between discipline and abuse. And discipline, even when I was a kid, is different to discipline today. If KJ was like this as a child, I'm not surprised they may have had a clip around the ear occasionally. Now, today, what we call abuse was discipline. It would be kind of funny if her brother called her out on everything. It would be, wouldn't it? I don't know. All right. Oh, by the way, I did speed up. I have sped up the voice because I want to get it over and done with. My grandparents were Irish Catholics and were never abusive towards us or our partner or our parents, yeah. But because they were hard and tough doesn't mean that they were abusive. They just probably didn't put up with all his stories. All right, so let's keep going with this.
And the early 1900s. Not the best people. And
She just said, did she just say her grandparents weren't the best people? They weren't the best people.
church to be abusive to us. And they were abusive to my family. They were physically and emotionally abusive to my mother. My grandparents, just in general, were just tough, hard-nosed Catholic people that grew up in the Great Depression and the early 1900s. Not the best people. And at my...
She did say they weren't the best people. Did they see your grandparents? Were they perfect? Probably, no, there's no one that's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Well, the interesting thing is, Christoph fan always, is that somebody will say something bad about her grandparents and she'll go off at them.
My grandpa's funeral, and I'm sure there's lots of Catholics that have a story like this. My grandfather was 89 years old. 89. Okay? And I've written about this, so this is not the first time I've shared the story. I'm like going to my grandpa's casket because they're going to close the casket. He died of congestive heart failure. So he, for like 5 or 6 years, had been dealing with a failing heart. And every like few months, they'd have to like, like when you have congestive heart failure, like the muscles are just not working very well. And so then your body starts to carry on and like store fluid. And so he would have to have like all this fluid drain. And there was so many close calls where we felt like he was going to die, but then he would bounce back. You know, and he never talked ever, like ever. He was like the quietest guy. He was a World War II veteran. Honestly, I would say my grandma was like 97 million times worse than my grandfather. My grandfather was just a quiet dude that worked his ass off and maybe drank a little bit too much brandy, but it was like the Depression and it was a different time. And like my grandma was like, she was vicious. And
her grandma was vicious. Really? Her grandma was vicious. Oh dear. Does anyone remember hearing about the 3 of our high school classmates who were talking about making a YouTube video partnership? Really? I don't. Maybe I don't think anything came of it. Tamara says, my grandmother was a strict Catholic, would give the stranger shit off the back, but you didn't dare smart mouth or break any of the rules in her house. That's a good point, Peter. We don't want to annoy her brother. Claire says the only thing our local priest did in Ireland was sleep with his housekeeper, a grown woman. He never abused kids. Rewind. I often wonder about her for. KJ said she was in her 20s. I know she's changed the age. She did praise her grandparents before. Now she didn't. Hello, your drunk uncle. Yeah. So she creates her community, then they follow her lead. So everything she's saying about her community, she's guilty of, says Jean. Yeah, that's what it seems to be like. Our priest slept with Sister Bridget, and they got married and lived happily ever after, and still practicing Catholic. So that's a nice story, Diane. She has zero medical knowledge, just for your information, says Aunt Lizzie. The new soap, as KJ's world turns, says Kelly. Hello, Kelly. What's the metric? Where does KJ fall on the best people scale? They do soak everything in as truth, and that's the Southern Baptists. You've got to be crazy. Okay, compulsive liars will say always something in the story that has nothing to do with the story to buy some time to think what to say next. Usually another lie. The depression after World War II. She tries to justify by calling well, she does. I think it was around Christmas time I heard them wanting to make a video, but nothing happened. Yeah, I've not heard anything. She loves using the abuse. She likes that word. I no longer practice organized religion, but I'm very spiritual. The 5 emails that she gets per day from people probably making up stories, so. Well, it'll be very interesting to see. Who else thinks there's going to be some sort of big crisis tonight after LB does her? I think there will be something. I've studied everything from Islam to Buddhism. Okay. We're all different. I respect whatever faith everyone has. That is being a Christian person. I don't know really what she's talking about. Like she's flip-flopping at the moment. Hey, Frank, at the moment, she's talking about Catholics. So she's saying, it was interesting because she started off by this rant to say she was only going to cover the fundamentalist Baptists because she didn't have time to go into all the other cults. So now she's doing a rant on the Catholic Church and particularly her grandparents now. I know, I saw that. He's asked for receipts. He won't get any. Thank you, Frank. I missed you all too. You know what's really interesting? I had my sister and my niece all trained to get videos and photos for me so I could make my videos. Anyway. We're only 16 minutes in, people.
My last conversation with my grandpa was my grandpa telling me that he was super proud of me because I bought his house. So he was like, he built a house when he was like, I don't know, 1947. He had my mom wasn't born yet, but my mom's sister was born, and then she was pregnant with my mom. And they built the house, and he paid off the house, and he worked for Skippy, like the peanut butter company, and he worked at the factory his whole life. After being in World War II, where he did cadavers, like he transported dead bodies in Egypt, like that was his job. And he was horribly like affected by that. So my grandfather was a very quiet Catholic guy. My grandmother was like a vicious, abusive, like Catholic lady. And
vicious, abusive Catholic lady. So, all right. Is she just making a thing to say that all Catholic ladies are abusive and vicious? Or am I reading stuff into it? Oh, really? I must have missed that. I must have missed your responses because I've only got the main stuff. I wouldn't be surprised either. But what was the highlight of my road trip? It was probably the zoo and the view of the harbour from the zoo. Wow, 130 people. I think it would be great if her source was somebody Jim Bob set up for her and everything was wrong. After today's LB interview, KJ is going to say, guys, today has been a hard day. 3 years ago today, I had a tomato plant die. It was my first tomato plant. Such a great plant it was, says Yo Junk Olsen. Discipline doesn't necessarily have to do with religion, says Wind Whispers. I am a Catholic and I am not vicious, Katie. You see, I don't like how, I really don't like how she just makes all these implications. Okay, how many still actually section numbers are up? Okay. I don't know. There's rumors out there that I have served a cease and desist, but I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest with you. All right, so let's keep going. We need to get through this. If KJ's father worked with the cadavers in Egypt in World War II, that means he worked on the British side. Really, Claire? That's interesting. Very interesting. So who is supposed to be who's supposed to be German? Where's the German supposed to be coming from? Like, I'm confused. I don't know. I'm just easily confused these days. All right. We'll keep going with this because we're only like 17 minutes in. We've still got heaps to go.
And the last conversation I had with my grandfather, he said to me, he was proud of me, one, because I bought the house and I didn't have a husband, I didn't have a boyfriend, and he wanted me to take care of his house because he was really proud of that house. He was proud of the fact that he had like paid that house off, that he worked so hard at the factory, and he provided this place for my mom and her sisters. And I had this like amazing conversation with him before he died. And I was feeling good, like not good that he died. I was just feeling like finally he was free of his pain. And it was an emotional loss for me because he was a quiet guy, but he wasn't a mean guy. He was like really nice to us.
Well, but before that, she said that he was abusive. She said her grandparents were abusive. Her grandmother was worse than her grandfather, but they were both abusive. Now she's saying he's a nice guy. Was he not? Like, make up your mind, please, KJ. Please make up your mind.
And at the funeral, I'm like about to close the casket. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
Since when? Since when do people close the casket? I thought the funeral directors closed the casket. So I didn't know that people get to close the casket. I thought that the funeral directors did. Well, they have it at every funeral I've been to.
My grandmother, I go to my grandma, who's like literally.
And anyway, why would she be doing it?
Like, she's very stoic and she's like upset. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Like, Grandma, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that Grandpa died.
Why would she be speaking like that to a grandmother? Like, I'm so sorry Granddad died. Really? No, that's not how you would talk.
I just wanted to give her a hug. And my grandma looks at me and she said, your grandfather died because he had a broken heart. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, when you stopped going to church, you killed your grandfather. And I was like, what? Yeah. Your grandfather's heart was broken and he died because you didn't go to church. And I was like, Grandma, what are you saying? Like, literally. And that's what she said to me. No, it is because I'm Catholic. And people that want to defend the Catholic Church, whatever. Because it wasn't just my grandma that did that. Then I was like, Grandma, that's not nice.
You wouldn't say that to, would you say that? I would not say that to my grandmother. I wouldn't say grandma. I wouldn't say, Grandma, that's not nice. I've had people dying of broken hearts before. How do you mend broken heart? It was extremely structured. I won't say that I was abused. She's evil, really awful. It would make more sense if he worked in North Africa where my grandfather was stationed in World War II or Italy, says Wilkman. Sometimes you just got to come out of character tables one of those days for send some duct tape. I don't think so. Well, I don't know that it'd work. Hello, Sweet Tea and family. Hello, Katie Joy Sauce. I always never tell a lie. I don't know if it will or not. Sarah loves Frank, if it would draw a brother out. I don't redo the. All we need to know is Russia isn't China. Yeah, so they have priests of no, she doesn't know the correct term. You think it depends on the funeral, Wilkman? Caskets get closed in private in Catholic Church, do they? The caskets, sorry. Okay, no, they won't miss her. They wouldn't. That doesn't happen, says Aunt Lizzie. Well, as I said, the ones I went to a viewing last year during COVID, and her grandparents must be rolling over in the grave. Yes, this is from 2 nights ago. This was from last night, my last night. It's from the 6th, I think. Yeah. Yeah. It was May last year, and we went to a viewing, and it was the funeral director that did it. You had to do that, and it wasn't done in front of viewers. Yeah, and they waited till it was empty. That was not done while anybody was there. The only time I've seen it done. So there was a viewing, and it was a viewing in the place where the funeral service was going to be. And I saw the funeral directors put the lid on the casket, and they did it up. And as the people were moving in for the funeral service, that's the only time I've seen it done. Meanwhile, the whole congregation is waiting for the conversation to stop. Wait, I thought the church killed her grandparents. Yes, good question. KJ's making more face story. Rick's not here. Where's the corner? I need a drink. We're all in the corner drinking. Oh dear. I asked about it after my dad's funeral. They said they do not allow anyone to close it. I suppose it would depend on where, but coming from KJ, your husband went twice when you were abused. Yeah, she can't. She's jumping all over the place later after the final goodbye. Yeah. So as I said, I saw it the only time I saw it like I had 2 funerals last year. One before COVID and one during COVID. Well, one was a viewing because we couldn't have a funeral. Only 10 people. Anyway. So there was a viewing, and then while people were arriving, they put the lid on. But it was the funeral directors that did it. It wasn't. So I'm calling into question that story. Okay, so we're 19 minutes in. Ugh.
That's really rude. I did not kill my grandpa, and I walked away. Don't talk about my grandma that way, Susan. Don't. That's rude.
Hang on. So what did Susan say? Hang on.
No, it is because I'm Catholic, and people that want to defend the Catholic think that I generalize. Then don't watch me. And I'm not sad fishing that way, Susan. Don't. No, it is because I'm Catholic, and people that want to defend the Catholic Church.
So Susan says she sounds like mentally ill. No offense. And she says, don't speak about my grandma like that. What has she just spoken about? She's just said her grandmother was evil.
Whatever, because it wasn't just my grandma that did that. Then I was like, Grandma, that's not nice. That's really rude. I did not kill my grandpa, and I walked away. Don't talk about my grandma that way, Susan. Don't. That's rude.
Hello. You have just been trashing your grandmother to 197 people. You have just said she was an evil woman. And then someone says, are you looking for sympathy?
My grandma was in her 80s. I'm just sharing what I'm happening. Anyways, so she was probably very grieving. But anyways, then the priest, no, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just sharing a story. Then the priest ends up going on to the he's sitting up there, and he's like, my brother.
You can't generalize Catholics, says somebody else. Oh, tell ya.
Brother reads the eulogy, and I think I read from the Bible, and my brother's eulogy was really funny. And I can generalize whatever I want to do, because I didn't say all the Catholics are the same. You guys are so ridiculous.
So now she's trying to backtrack, and she's about to turn off comments.
When I share my story, it's not about you, okay?
Oh dear. It's not about you. But hang on a minute. She shared a story yesterday that she made all about herself. He's probably fighting the Catholics in Minnesota. Probably. Sarah loves story. Oh dear. Oh no, it's real. Unfortunately, Frank. She could be. No way they would ask, yeah. Put a lid on. Susan said, well, that's what KJ has just described is somebody that, is rational. And it's the weirdest rabbit hole. You're full of spite, says Aunt Lizzie. Yeah. Poor grandma was grieving. Even if grandma said that, you should extend grace. Well, grandma is grieving. Yeah. KJ said she was an abusive Catholic lady. She did say that. And then, it's a never-ending black hole, never-ending train wreck. Whoa. No, I don't think her brother's dead. I think that's what she's implying. When she tells her stories, it seems like she's recalling an event. I think she believes her stories in the moment. I think so. That's what. And she wonders why she loses members. It's not about you. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. She made her once bully. But she did generalize. Hello, Cindy. So you're going to need to use lots of soap and water. Banging your head against the wall, says Gail. Oh, dear. Hello. But I was going to the left. It's going to the memory. Oh, boy. Something familiar about this conduct, like when she was telling us the day my son almost died. It was, isn't it? Well, actually, Aunt Lizzie, it was Instagram, so there aren't any subscribers. So it was on Instagram. No, she's got no respect for her grandma. Someone has served her papers or some other legal. Oh, is that at noon, is it? Christoph Vanderloos? I don't know. All right. It'll be interesting, but I've got all the stuff. I've got all the Twitter stuff. Hello, 144 people. Okay, so let's keep going. So it's all about her. All about her.
It's my story. And I am sharing my story of being a Catholic in the congregations that I've been in. And if you want to defend your church, that's fine. Don't watch me. I don't care. But I'm not going to stop. And if you think that I generalize, then don't watch me. And I'm not sad fishing. I'm just sharing a story. Anyways, I don't care if you feel bad for me. My goal here is not to make you feel bad for me. Anyways.
That's the thing. No one does feel bad for you. Someone says, sounds like you need to settle stuff with your family first.
Well, if you're a Catholic, then yes, fine. All Catholics. You know that I do, exaggerate sometimes? I think sometimes you guys take me way too literal.
There you go. She just said she exaggerates. Bingo! So what part of her story that she just told was exaggeration?
If you don't like how I talk and if you think that I say shit and you think I'm a terrible person, there's this really cool button. It's called unfollow. But anyways... I'm turning off comments. Anyways, when you guys get really rude and you think that I'm talking about everyone, and even if I say all Catholics, you do realize that I'm not saying all Catholics. It's literally an exaggeration. It's what's that called?
A generalization, you idiot.
When you're just being expressive in your speech, it's people are so literal about everything.
It's you just said, what is it? When I say all Catholics, I don't literally mean all Catholics. It's a generalization. Gee whiz.
I say, and I have no room for anything. But guess what? As someone who's a confirmed Catholic, who grew up and went to multiple Catholic churches, who had experiences that were negative.
Hang on. She's now saying she's confirmed. She's saying she's a confirmed Catholic again. Now, is she an ex-Catholic? Is she I don't know what she is.
multiple Catholic parishes, who has multiple Catholic friends and has multiple Catholics in my family. I have an opinion about Catholics, and it doesn't mean that my opinion doesn't matter or my experience doesn't matter. And I'm not sad fishing. I'm only here to share the story. Is that at his funeral, the priest goes up and he's basically like, "You killed your grandfather because of you guys not going to church." Like, literally, that's what the priest is saying. And we're like, and he's like going on and on and on and on about how my grandpa is going to be like stuck in purgatory and how he's rolling over in his grave. And if we really cared about my grandpa, we would go back to church. And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with my grandpa dying?
Now she's saying we. So who's we? Who's we?
Like nothing. Like my dad, my brothers just read the eulogy. I just read a passage. Like my whole family is sitting there and we're like, our eyes are like wide open and we're just like shaking. We're so angry because we just went to church to say goodbye to my grandpa and we're getting our asses like scolded by the priest. And if you read about Catholic stories, you'll hear priests that do this kind of shit. There was a boy, can't remember what state it was in. He ended up committing suicide because of, I think he was gay. And the priest at the funeral, this was in the news, it was a huge story. The priest in the funeral told the family that he wasn't going to be going to heaven, he was going to hell because he killed himself. And it was like, that was what the priest did. So I remember reading that story and I was like, I've been at a funeral like that, where they blame you for what happened to the person, or they blame the person for what happened to them. And does it happen to all Catholics? No. Does it happen to enough Catholics? Yes. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it happened.
Just because, well, yeah, I think she slipped up there. She said, just because it happened to you doesn't mean it happened. Just because it happened to you doesn't mean it happens. But I think that's what she said. Just because it happened to you doesn't mean it happened. All right, so let's have a listen to it again.
Priest at the funeral, this was in the news, it was a huge story. The priest in the funeral told the family that he wasn't going to be going to heaven, he was going to hell because he killed himself. And it was like, that was what the priest did. So I remember reading that story and I was like, I've been at a funeral like that, where they blame you for what happened to the person, or they blame the person for what happened to them. And does it happen to all Catholics? No. Does it happen to enough Catholics? Yes. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it happened. My whole point in all of this is that bad things happen.
Hang on. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it happened. Huh? I think she's meant to say just because it happened, just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it happens, I think, is what she was supposed to say. Well, thank you, Frank. It's all about me. It's only a few years ago she was right, but she's actually like she's been anti-religion her whole life. Oh, 144, cool. Right, stop the presses. You know, you guys know I exaggerate sometimes. It's unhinged. Always and mixing up adjectives and adverbs. There's got to be something in the pipeline. Hello, Lena. She doesn't know what she is. Now it's the priest, not her grandmother that's there. I know, it's bizarre. We want to shake her and put a sock in her mouth. Poor love, she's so confused. She said she never called herself a journalist, and now she calls herself a journalist. I'm KJ, and it's my story, so I'll lie as much as I want to, even... It's my story, and I'll lie if I want to. Lie if I want to. Lie if I want to. You would lie too, if you could too. So that means she's only been a member of one parish and one junior school, one high school. You can only go to school in there. Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought that's what they believed about suicide. There was a lot of bitterness coming in. So not all churches are evil and loaded. Oh, look, I'm so confused. I'm confused. She just inserted herself as the main character in the story. Yeah. Maybe. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it happened. Yeah. Sounds like she didn't like her grandparents and was blaming the church for all her personal problems. So bizarre. So bizarre. Ooh, baby. You mean TLC? No, maybe. All right, let's keep going with this. Oh, I hate having to do this every time.
Happen in all faiths. And if you are blind to it, and if you can't handle seeing the bad of your faith, you can't grow and you can't get better and you can't expect your faith to get better. If you accept everything within your organization as perfect, you're being a part of the problem. You can't accept an organization like the Catholic Church that has a huge problem with, moving priests around, which, by the way, like I said, the guy that confirmed me was moved from my parish to another place in, I think, Arizona. And it was really weird because he was really nice. His name was Mike. I can't remember his last name, but it was like, we called him like Priest Mike or Father Mike. And the next year, he was suddenly gone. Like, nobody told us where he went. Everyone loved him. And we were like, hey.
So she's just doxed her priest. Father Mike. Priest Mike. It's Father Mike.
Where's Father Mike? I don't know. He just, So we started going through the archdiocese of all the different offenders. My mom finds out that one of the priests at her Catholic school, high school, was a massive pedophile. This was a huge problem, and it wasn't just like one or two priests. It's been hundreds, maybe thousands, and a system that has protected these guys. So we didn't get to hear where people have now critically looked at the Catholic Church and said enough by not talking about it. But I don't feel like my goal would be to take down the Catholics, because I feel like the Catholics have already had enough people talking about them. And I feel like drawn to this cult that nobody's talking about.
So she's not picking on the Catholics because she thinks everybody's picking on the Catholics, but she's happy to pick on another because she thinks that no one else is talking about them.
And so if you can't handle that I don't talk about other cults, or if you want me to talk about other cults, I don't know that I can, because right now there's so much in this one that has constantly giving me things that I've only scratched the surface.
Yes, because it's giving them money.
And there's no way that I can make an impact if I start going and looking at 37,000 different cults. That's not the kind of investigator I am or reporter I am. It's just not how I roll.
But you're not a reporter.
I don't have...
And you're not an investigator.
the bandwidth to research effectively 14 different cults and deliver you content on all these different cults.
Hey,
and keep chugging. Catholics have already had enough people talking about them. So, comments are back on. That was not sad fishing. That was literally just making me share a story. You don't have to feel sad for me. I don't feel sad for myself. I don't feel bad. It was just something that happened. I said that my grandmother's funeral was fine. He was a nice... It's hard. You lose that whole world that you grew up in. I grew up going to catechism, and I don't have the bandwidth to research effectively 14 different cults and deliver you content on all these different cults and keep chugging out videos for you every...
So she doesn't have the bandwidth. So what bandwidth? I mean, I have unlimited. So...
single day. It wouldn't work. So, comments are back on. That was not sad fishing. That was literally just making me share a story. You don't have to feel sad for me. I don't feel sad for myself. I don't feel bad. It was just something that happened. I was told I was responsible for my grandmother's death because she died on my birthday. I was 4 my whole life. Some of the family never spoke to me, and they said I'm a witch. So every person has their story of faith, and that's mine. And then after I left the Catholic Church, I wanted to find something to make me feel better because I didn't want to believe that there was all these churches that I left, that I lost like a huge part of my life when I walked away from the Catholic Church. And I wanted to find something so I could still have faith, because when you lose faith and you lose the community, like, it's hard. You know, you lose that whole world that you grew up in. I grew up going to catechism and church my whole life. Like, you lose, like, it's like when you lose that religion, you lose a part of yourself, right? And I wanted to find something else. We're Roman Catholic, and I've heard plenty of, but here's the thing. I didn't say that every priest was bad. The priest that did my grandmother's funeral was fine. He was a nice guy. There are good priests. There's unfortunately a lot of bad priests, and that's the problem. So you can't, just because I'm calling out the bad priests, isn't I'm saying that all the priests are bad. I feel like people sometimes get so like, my church wasn't like that. You can't objectively say it because it wasn't like that for you, that it's not like that for someone else. So then I ended up joining some other kind of church that was super cult-like and Christian-based, and that didn't work either. So now I just do this. And this is where I feel comfortable.
Do what? I just do this because I feel comfortable. There is a grandma and a Catholic priest. Oh. KJ telling me how to be better. Maybe I should write a motivational book. Oh. I don't think she goes to family dinners, okay. Something really, really bad has happened to her, but she's never covered it. She's beyond bitter. Yeah. Frank. So did she just say, I want to bring down this couple? She did. There's no way she'll make an impact either way. She looks stupid. The Pope can change the rules by now. Priests to be charged for what they do. I'm getting tired of her blaming everyone in the church. You're not a reporter. You're not a journalist. Okay, just stop with that. Thanks. She's no reporter. She can chase adoptive parents and alleged crimes and abuse, move on to the Catholic Church. Bandwidth. I know she said about she didn't have the bandwidth. KJ, they are not cults, they are religion. No, did it even relate to that woman's story? No, I don't think so. Road. Wait, the priest was not, but accused her of killing her. No, I think it was a different priest, I think. You don't go to catechism. I can't even say it. It's what you study. Yeah, I thought it was a study. And just a douche canoe floating down the river without a paddle, losing my religion. Come across churches like this, but that doesn't mean I think they're all the same. No, I don't think. Well, that's Lena. She normally does say she's a atheist. Crescendo, is she done? Unfortunately not. There's still another 20 minutes to go. Since her grandparents were so religious, maybe they were mean to KJ because they sensed true evil in her. Or maybe they tried to cast out demons. Hello, Tia. How are you going? I hope you're feeling better. They lose their meanings. All right, so we've got 28 minutes. We're 28 minutes in of 54.
Victim shaming? What's victim shaming? Just because their church was not like that shouldn't discount those that did experience that. Right. You had to leave the Catholic Church because of all the things that I mentioned. You despise going because of all the money. I grew up IFB and felt a huge laugh after my deconversion. My community was suddenly gone. I'm happy now, though. Yeah. I felt like going through deconstruction. That's what it's called when you leave your faith. It's called like deconversion, deconstruction, and you have to like unlearn everything that's been put into your brain, and you have to sort of like figure out what was true from what was false. It's overwhelming. You don't need to have a church to have a relationship with God. I became an atheist, but that wasn't like a result of any of this. It was more like this realization for me. And every person has their own journey.
You're not an atheist, you're an agnostic. Because you're talking about because you obviously believe in a higher power. An atheist believes in nothing. Nothing. Atheist means nothing. You're an agnostic, Katie. Agnostic. An atheist believes that there is nothing. Agnostic believes that there is a higher power that could or could not be God, may or may not be God, but there is some type of higher power that's involved. I still think you're an agnostic, but you're saying you're an atheist by choice. And atheists don't generally like talking about religion at all.
Becoming an atheist was actually one of the best experiences in a way. It was hard because I like let go of everything, and I had to let go of all these friends that I had, and I left tons of people, but I found freedom in myself, and I found strength in who I was, and I felt better. And it was hard, but it was the hardest realization I ever had to make, but it was the best for me. But I don't believe, as an atheist, it's my job to tell other people that they shouldn't believe. I feel like everyone has to come to whatever place they're going to come to on their own. And I also don't feel like people need to know how to become an atheist, because you either believe or you don't. And it doesn't happen like in a straight line. You go from, I went for years where I was like, I don't believe, to like, maybe I do, or maybe I don't. I don't know. And people always say there's bad experiences in every religion. Where did I not say that? People get so hurt if I don't say that there's bad things that happen in every religion. I don't have experience in every religion.
Someone says, why do you say like so much? Trauma from your religious upbringing.
This person wants to go, this person wants to go live with me. How can I judge the Duggars if I've never experienced it? I can judge a cult. I can report on abuse. You don't have to experience. I've gone through religious abuse. I've gone through spiritual abuse. Like, all of these people are asking me to go live, and then I say go live, and then they don't want to go live. I have a very large video coming out of all this, like, hello? Hello? You want to join me?
Okay, so according to the American Atheists Association, so atheists.org, American atheists. They're saying, it's interesting because she's talking about atheism as if it's a religion. And he says, well, hey, this is from the atheist. So atheism is not a belief system, nor is it religion. Well, there are some religions that are atheist, certain sects of Buddhism, for example. That does not mean that atheism is a religion. To put it more in a humorous way, if atheism is a religion, then not stamp collecting is a hobby. So there you go. But I still think she's an agnostic. Oh, I've lost the whole pile of chat, so I apologize. Oh, where are we? Oh. She's telling us, yeah, she's telling us how we should be feeling. Oh no, Tia, you were in ER last week? I love how Aussies say, how are you going versus how are you doing? Yeah. She does victim shame. It's reprogramming for cults. Well, that's right. That's what she's... Yeah, she said multiple times, I'm Catholic. Yes, Aunt Lizzie. Now she's tweeting her hater support. Really? Is she up, is she? No, they celebrate, I was going to say Festivus. Festivus. No. They celebrate, what do they celebrate? Yule. They celebrate Yule. Festivus for the rest of us. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what she sort of said. She was sort of saying that if you supported the Catholic Church, that you were sort of, she was alluding to the fact that you support those. Oh, yeah, here we go. She's got here, so this is her Twitter. It says, I've seen my haters defend rapists, child abusers, and charlatans because they hate me. They do despicable things to anyone that supports me, like threatening and stalking them. If you want to see my community, visit me on Instagram. I'm rarely on Twitter these days because of the troll. And then Big Kev, says they call you a doxer right before they dox me. See the disconnect there? These people are miserable and highly jealous of you. They want your numbers on YouTube channel. They don't understand that in order to get your numbers, they need not to be them. Well, let me tell you what, Katie Joy, I don't care about your numbers on YouTube. I want to be authentic, and I want every one of my members and every one of my subscribers to be real, and I want them to feel like they're valued, and I want them to have a voice. And they are, each one is important. So I don't care. I don't care whether I have a big channel or not. I'm just very grateful that people want to listen to me. So there you go. Yeah, she did the Kardashians earlier. Remember, I have a YouTube manager. Don't forget, I have a YouTube manager. Yes, I do. I have a YouTube manager. I know, and I've only got like... and his name is Rick.
No? Are you there? I don't know how to make them go away now. How do I disconnect you? Hello?
Hello. Hello. G'day, g'day. And how you
How do I
going?
disconnect you?
What do you know? We'll strike a
If
light.
you're not going to talk, please disconnect.
G'day, g'day. And how you going? Say g'day, 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 and we'll be great. I don't know the words.
You know you're live, obviously. Tracy.
How rude can you be? Why?
Tracy.
Oh dear, how rude. How...
Tracy.
Answer me,
McCain,
Tracy.
that was very bizarre.
Answer me, Tracy.
Hi, Marie. Hi. How you doing? I love you. Oh, I love you too.
Oh, wait. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. She says, I love you. And now she's going, but she was calling her out. Oh. Oh, dear. Anyway, we saw the rest of that. That was just like a fan moment, Slipwick. I bet you they are. Like it's like Slickwick. Hey, Poppy says Slickwick. Yeah. So it's like she's like when she thinks they can't hear her. It's like when she thinks she can't hear them, she goes, Tracy, Tracy, Tracy. And then he goes, has to go, and then he goes. And she's, ouch, I love you, Tracy. Well, no, I haven't, Tamara, but I do have an email address, Tamara. I will make contact. I know she had some surgery recently. Oh, we're just watching another live where KJ has admitted to exaggerating, and that when she says all Catholics, she doesn't mean all Catholics. She's essentially making a generalization, and when someone called her out for generalizing, she said she wasn't generalizing. Can I do it again? I don't know. Sometimes, Frank, I do things once and I don't remember what I do. And apparently her grandparents were abusive. Her grandmother blamed her for killing her grandfather, but then the priest blamed the family for killing the grandfather. Who knows? And then we're just up to the, Tracy, get off my live if you're not going to answer. Tracy, get off my live if you're not going to answer. Oh, Tracy, I love you. Oh dear. Like get off my live. Get off my live if you're not going to talk to me. Get off my live. Oh, Tracy, I love you. Anyway, serious. I'll be serious. These Punch and Judy, you make me think of that. Yeah. Oh, Great Depression was after World War II. Apparently so. Yes, that's right. We learned that too. but I love you, Tracy. Yes. But get off my live if you're not going to talk. Stop saying my name. Sorry, Tracy. Oh boy. Don't talk about my grandmother like that. Is so rude. My grandmother was vicious. Don't forget she was abusive. She was an abusive 80-year-old. But yes, you can't talk about my grandmother like that. And don't forget that Russia isn't China. All right. So now we're up to Tracy, who she loves.
You know you're live, obviously. Tracy. 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 Tracy McCain, that was very bizarre.
But she just doxed her. She just called out her name. She just called out her name. She said her full name.
Hi, Marie. Hi. How you doing? I love you. Oh, I love you too. I watch you all the time. You know that. I do. How are you? I'm doing well. And you? Good. Wait, who are you now? Who's in the bottom? Is that Avery? Oh. Yes. Hi. Hi, Avery. There's these new rooms you can add like more people. Yeah, I like this. I'm starting to love Instagram more. What's that? Is Jake been arrested? Who's Jake? Oh. Jake who? Yeah. No idea. Jake. How are you guys? I have to make a thumbnail while you're talking, so. I'm good. I'm good. You were talking about being an atheist, right? Yeah. Yeah. I have friends who are atheists as well. And their whole point is, now I'm Catholic, okay, which I think I've told you, but anyway. And you can listen to this mad, right? Because you're like, no, not at all. No. Yeah. There's so much I disagree with. I mean, being a Catholic. I mean, I don't go to church. Yeah. I was forced to go when I was little. You know, like friends that are Catholic that I in our lives that I have these conversations with, and they're just like, I know it sucks. Like, yeah, exactly. And anyway, there's just a lot of things that I don't like about them, and I'm sure every religion is similar, but not to the extent of this IB whatever. I can't always remember the initials. IBL. IBL. Yes, yes. I mean, the way they treat women and everything is just horrendous. I just and the brainwashing. I mean, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. But yeah, anyway, I don't love a lot of the priests that have been in my life, but I don't also recall a priest like mocking my appearance and
like shaming me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I can't believe that priest said that. I cannot. That never happened to me or any of my family here in New York. I mean, it doesn't matter where I am, but I'm just saying that was horrendous to say that. I mean, about your grandfather. I mean, it's about him. It's not about you guys. I mean, you know what I mean?
right.
Anyway, about being atheist, I believe that it doesn't matter what religion you are, as long as you're a kind person and you obey the rules or laws, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what matters. That's what makes you a good person. So, I mean, that's what I believe. You know,
Right.
And so I don't mind if people say, well, I'm an atheist, and I don't say, well, oh my God, you don't believe in God? What's wrong with you?
Well, I don't just are still Catholic. What's wrong with you for being Catholic? You know, like,
yeah, exactly.
like, I have family that are still Catholic. Like, I'm not going to shame them for being Catholic.
No, not at all. I mean, and I don't shame
Like, my whole family.
Yeah, my whole family too. I mean, and they're like really devout. They go every Sunday, every holiday, and this and that.
Hang on. She just said before that the priest upset her whole family because they didn't go to church. But yet she's now saying that they're, oh, I'm confused.
I cannot bring up religion with them because I just disagree with so much. I mean, I disagree. When I got married, I had to do the pre-Cana classes and all that. I mean, it was a joke. We were sitting there were like about 25 couples, and the priest was talking about, it wasn't a priest, it was a nun back then, was talking about, how to have sex and not to use condoms and do the, what do you call it, the pull out or whatever. I mean, it's the
I had the method. Because my grandpa wanted my mom to get, like, married in the church.
Yeah.
And my dad was Episcopalian, I think.
Right.
And he isn't, my dad's not a believer. See, I grew up in a conflicted house.
Yeah.
My dad was Episcopalian, but he doesn't practice. And then
Hang on. Didn't she just say that her whole family was Catholic? Now she's saying her dad isn't.
he got into Judaism for a little while because he had, like, one of his best friends was Jewish. And I was just, like, then he was, like, super into, like, he's, like, learning about faiths. He went through this, like, learning Buddhism. And so I felt like I grew up learning about a lot of different faiths, which was super cool. But it was confusing because my dad made a really good point. He was always like, how do you know that Christ is actually God?
Right.
He's the Son of God. And I was, that doesn't make sense to me. Because I'm trying to rationalize that, right?
Mm-hmm. I think everybody does. I mean, it's very hard to believe what they can't see. Yeah. Especially something that happened so long ago.
And if you question that and you ask those questions in church, a lot of times churches don't make it safe to ask those questions.
They'll beat up on you. I mean, not literally, but they'll just, how dare you say that? How ask that? Like, who are you and this and that, and your opinions don't matter. And
It's the teaching of the Trinity. It's the teaching of the Trinity. The Father, the Son, who are three in one. I don't have to understand something for it to be true. I don't understand how a chair, when I sit on it, doesn't break underneath me. But when I sit on a chair, it's sturdy. I don't understand how when you boil water, it becomes steam. Ice is frozen water. Steam is boiled water. It's still water.
oh, it's all about that. I know. I remember that. Definitely.
I went to catechism and I made that comment, and they literally, like, ripped me out and pulled me out of class. And
I remember catechism. We hated it. I hated it.
Who told you that? Why would you say that Jesus is not God? And I was like, well, he's the Son of God. I'm like 7.
Yeah, but were you taught by actual nuns?
Catechism, no. My mom went to Catholic school, and she was.
Okay.
Nuns
Boring. They are just the most boring people.
My mom said the Catholic nuns at her school were vicious. Like, they had purple.
Yeah.
Even public state schools had corporal punishment. It had nothing to do with whether they were nuns or not.
Maybe the ones
ones that I've encountered, which are only, back then it was only about one or two that taught catechism. I mean, this woman was just, I mean, we fell asleep immediately. I mean, she was just putting everybody to sleep.
That's boring though. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you're young and you're like sitting there and she's talking about the Bible and this and that. And I mean, you're going to get bored.
Learning about Bible stories. Like, I don't remember reading the Bible. I don't remember going to mass, like having like biblical masses. And I remember like the first time I read the Bible, it was in my 30s because,
oh my God.
Well, like fully.
No, me too. Actually reading it and saying, yes, I didn't know that. They didn't teach us.
Yeah. Bible. I mean, they
Exactly.
did. Bible to us.
Yeah. Well, I can see why you totally, went another direction because I don't blame you after what happened. I mean, with your family and that. It's just, it's so, I mean, and also the priests. I mean, I saw that documentary on Netflix. What is it called? Keepers.
That's a good one if you ever want one.
Yeah, Keepers. And it was eye-opening for me. I mean, of what they used to just shift priests around when they were messing around with boys and when they found out.
There's a lot of churches that move their ministers around. It's got nothing to do with anything. Oh, I tell you, I don't think I can do that anymore. I don't think I can sit through much of that. Oh. I was supposed to go to bed at 7 p.m. and I'll never go to bed again. Well, we had a character called Fat Cat, and when Fat Cat went to bed, it was bedtime. It was not negotiable because Fat Cat would come on the screens and tell us it was time to go to bed and say goodnight to us all. And so when Fat Cat came on, it was time to go to bed. That's how we went to bed. Oh dear, Mutual Admiration Society. I know. Oh dear, it's weird, isn't it? Tracy, get up here and be my echo chamber. It's sad watching non-Christians discuss theology. It is, Elena, isn't it? Oh, wow. It's law. Wow. It's interesting. That's right. That doesn't make sense. Do not rely on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will correct your path. There's lots of stuff that I don't understand. I don't understand how gravity happens, but if I throw a ball up in the air, I expect it's going to come down. I don't understand. I think she said her mum was brought up by nun, went to school with nuns, but yeah, I don't know what she said. Did she really call her mum a nun? I think she must have. Not all movements are bad, correct. It's 11:28 and I haven't even got onto the LB stuff yet. So and I'm doing an early morning. I'm coming back on at 8:30 for a Pearl and Gem show and some shopping stuff if anyone's interested. Otherwise, I'll just be here on my own. I'll just stay here. I just talk to myself.
How, you know, the Cardinals would just switch them to other churches in another state or there. I can't.
Someone just said confession. I never understood confession. Oh, this sacramental confession. I remember I was like 8, 9 years old.
Scared.
And I was like, I don't sin. Like, what do I have to confess?
She doesn't sin. She wasn't sinning. She wasn't sinning at 7 or 8 years old. She never told a lie to her parents. Gail, I don't know.
No, I know. And they put you in this little closet and it's dark and it's like, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I had to remember, what was it? The act of contrition or whatever you have to start out with when you say it. And it's like, it's hard and it's too difficult. And it's not, I mean, you're only in 2nd grade. I mean, come on.
I know. And then you have to get your rosary. And like, I never understood how to use the rosary.
Neither did I.
And then I inherited all my grandma's rosaries. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with these.
And you don't know what to do with it. You can't throw them out.
No. No. My grandma was doing the Hail Marys. Like, you guys was always Hail Marys. Like, the Hail Marys picked everything.
Exactly. Oh, well. But anyway, that's my thing about religion. But, you know, like there are different cults out there. And you've given us a lot of information about this one in particular that I did not know how bad it was since the last couple of videos that you've made about, you know, about what's going on with these, you know, what Katie and what she had to endure and all that stuff and what all these kids are enduring now with this cult. I mean, it's just unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I'm glad you're bringing light to it, you know, because something's got to be done with these people. I mean, I don't know what, but maybe just to bring light to it and to make people more aware, which is what you're doing, Katie. And thank you for that. You're doing a great job, honey. Well, thank you. Okay.
Doing a great job. So I know it's getting late. I think it's like 5 or 6 a.m. I think for us. Oh, thank you. Sarah loves donuts. It'd be good. She sings every moment of the day. She's been perfect in her whole life. I wonder what that's like. Thank you. Have a good walk of the dog. Wait, isn't part of the class learning how to use rosary? I thought you learnt to use rosary. Maybe she wagged that class. Yeah. Roman Catholics do know how to use rosaries. Yes, that's right, Frank. And this is why we have to call it out, because it is dangerous. It is dangerous. I am Baptist and like to pray the rosary from a friend who was Catholic, says Lena. Just a kiss already. Oh, dear. Oh, dear me. Someone says, show me in the Bible where catechism is. Where is confession? It's not actually. It says if we confess our sins. If we confess our sins, what is it? If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from unrighteousness. If we claim we have not sinned, we make him out to be a liar and his word has no place in our lives. 1 John 1:9. First John 1:9. That is from.
I have like a Duggar pile coming up, like
Oh my God. I love Duggar. Oh, do you guys?
Pile. It's like all the gossip from the weekend because all we've been talking about is Katie, but there's been so much that I've had to go through and dig through, and like you don't have anyone announcing it, and so you don't have the, you know, to like.
I mean, I see other things on the side, like people saying, I don't think Jill and Derek were there at the wedding. And I'm like, well, I don't know you. And I don't believe you. I have to wait for Katie. She'll tell us, you know, and I don't know. But because there's no known photos of them there or whatever. I'm like,
right, there's not, I mean, I think Jill and Derek were there. I think I could see them in the audience. And then Drew and Jeremy were there. And I think people get confused because they're like, oh, Jill's in a photo, so it means everything's good. No, it's
no,
like, you go to
with it.
family, it doesn't mean that everything is healed and back to normal and restored. Like, you're still going to love your siblings, even if you don't like them.
You want to be there for them when they get married, like they were there for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, she basically raised these little boys.
Exactly. That's right. Very true. She was their mother.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, Katie, I'll let you go. I know you're probably, busy.
Okay.
All
I
right.
have to make this thumbnail.
Okay, make the thumbnail. Take care. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, this new feature, you guys, I can't even figure out how to make it go away.
Yeah, this is... Okay.
But as long as this cult is on TV and people think it's a normal family, you can't leave it alone. You just can't. You have to be able to still talk about it. And when I'm talking about my experience as a Catholic, my experience, were all my experiences at Catholic Church bad? No. I had so much fun at my confirmation retreat. I made so many friends through the church. There's not every part of my upbringing that was bad. It's just the really bad moments made it so that I couldn't be there anymore. Catholic is legalism, so is the IFB. Maybe that's why I can identify with it, because of the legalistic aspect of it. All religions are effectively man-made. The only thing that really should matter is if you do believe is your relationship with God. I've always believed you don't need to have someone tell you how to believe in God. All right. I don't know. She can't figure out how to exit. Oh, you're still on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did try out a non-Catholic church. Several. But it wouldn't matter. Sometimes when you have an experience where you're that scarred, you don't have to find something else to replace it. And when I went to another church, nothing fixed that. The experience was what it was. There was no amount of...
Scars is what makes a person. Scars don't always disappear. Although wounds will heal, sometimes you have scars so that you learn from your experience and you remember where you've been. Sometimes it's about the journey. I have scars from my life experiences, but I use them to learn, and I use those scars and experiences that cause those scars to help and encourage other people who are going through similar stuff.
Erasing what I had gone through. It was just a part of my story. And everybody has a part of their story. Clearly, I have thoughts on religion, but it's not my place to tell you what to believe. It's not my place to say you shouldn't believe. I believe that Christians that are peaceful, that practice their faith peacefully, are fine. I have no problem with that. If you're not pushing or espousing your faith and using it to hurt other people and tell people that you're better than them, or to make people feel like they're less than you, and you're doing your faith in a way that's just for you to have a better relationship with God and live a life that you feel fulfilled in, that's fine. It's when we start dictating how other people live. And
okay, so here's a question for you. If the Duggars weren't on TV and making money, would you really care? Is it the fact that they're on TV and they're popular that she actually has the problem? Because they seem like they're just getting on with their life and living their life.
And deciding what other people should do with their time, their bodies. That's not okay in my book. We just need to be like, this person's crazy. This faith person's nuts. Y'all would like defend sex abusers if it just meant that you could disagree with me. That's what I think the weird thing is about my haters. They'll defend men that literally rape children if it means they can be contrarian to what I'm doing.
Because the fact of the matter is there's men raping children in these cults. And that's what I care about. I care that Jim Bob Duggar is still surrounded by men that have histories of doing this kind of stuff or have defended men that have done this kind of stuff. Sexual abuse, physical abuse. I mean, we haven't even gotten into the physical abuse that happens in this cult. The rods, the beatings that these kids go through, the sheer beatings these kids go through in the name of God, in the name of training. There's so much abuse. It's not good for the men either. It's not good for any man to have that kind of power. And not every man should have to feel like they have to carry everything on their shoulders. The Duggar boys are as much victims to all of this, and some will become perpetrators as a result. And that's the shitty part about this cult. And then the girls who were abused will go on and use the same techniques with the blanket training, and then they become abusers. And it's the sad part about this cult is they were victims and then they become abusers, and it's sad. I mean, it's not just the blanket training. The blanket training is how it starts. The beatings happen throughout all. I mean, if you talk to enough people that grew up in this cult or in really strict IFB churches, the amount of rods and just corporal punishment that exists and is accepted is out of control.
Well, somebody has said there, I wonder if the TLC...
Oh yeah, emotional abuse, physical abuse, spiritual abuse. There's so much abuse happening.
Okay,
That's all it is.
Good. That's finished. Yay. All right. So did you hear her say, you know, that they're all going to grow up and anyway. I don't know. So let's have a look at what's happened. Let's have a look. So I haven't seen any updates. So I'll show you the stuff that I grabbed before. She said she didn't read the Bible until now she's 32. So let's have a look at what's happened here. And again, I'm going to have to go in and out the whole time. So let's have a look. Yeah, she did. She's digging into their lives. She is. Sorry, it's just all jumped. So I apologize. It's all jumping. So I apologize if I don't get to your comment. Okay. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Tammy. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Oh, hello, everybody. Where was the allegedly? No, she never has any proof. Okay. So let me now. I just need to just get this. So this happened. This is what was happening today. I'm just going to open these up. Give me a moment because, and I'm going to complain and I'm going to whinge about only having one screen working at the moment. All right. So there was this. Well, it'd be good if TLC did do something, but I don't know that they will. So this one, I think. So there was this. It says there's a cease and desist letter on your email regarding da-da-da. There is an active restraining order against her for myself and our minor child who I have full custody of for years 2012 to present. At least one more order is being served for 2 others tomorrow. Okay. I'm just trying to get these into some type of order. Because they were all... Well, here's the next. So then it went on to say... No, this is for LB. So this is about LB and about. Sorry, I've just done this out of order. This is on LB and about the Laurie Ann interview. Where's my? All right, so then we had this. Sorry, oh, this has gone horrible. This one. So it says, someone says, is this really the place to post this? And then someone else says, why not? She's ignoring him, and if he's legit, he deserves to have his side told as well. Yes, that's who it's supposed to be. And as I said, I'm not going to, like, I can't say where, you know, what, who this is. So then it was, then this was reported. Oh, then this was stated. I've not been ignoring him, but I do not check every one of my notifications. Every time I get quit, I have 20 plus notifications. This was made this month. My stream will be about the lawsuit, so I'm unsure why he's bothered. If it is her ex, I spoke to LA and she's told me she will not discuss her ex-husband. I only brought it up because someone told me it was affecting her relationship with her child. And personally, I feel that someone being on YouTube is no reason for that to affect the relationship of anyone outside of YouTube. So then somebody says, and as I said, I've taken out all the names because I really want to tread carefully with this. I'm glad it's affecting. She threatened to call CPS on many of us. That is something I was never aware of. Crescendo, it will be available. It will be available you can watch it back. So you'll be able to order some stuff if you're interested. So yeah. All right. I don't know. This is just what Twitter was going about it. So then there was this, and I think this is one of the most interesting things of all. All right. So again, it says Leslie has it and appears she shared the links and docs with blank, as there was a violation of the protection order today where blank emailed me thinking he could get over me asking me for access to the link that he could have gotten one way, never met the guy or heard of him. So from what I am working out, it seems from what I can work out that LB was served with a C&D over the interview. Now, as I said, I don't know. This is I'm just showing you what's played out on Twitter today. I don't know the legitimacy of it. I'm just showing you what's on Twitter. As I said, I've taken out all the names. It says, so apparently the criminal sheet is long on this guy, blown away just public records in Virginia Beach prior to him moving to Washington. Yeah. So then it is, I have gotten that for years, and in fact, one of her last texts was something of that nature. Someone else says something isn't right about this. A brand new Twitter account with no followers. I, for one, can't wait to watch video. Don't care about her personal life, but would like the dirt on Killjoy and Brown. My name is redacted, and I personally use my real name as I received unsolicited screenshots of this talk about Laurie going on Leslie's channel. After reviewing and listening to her confirmation last night, I was forced to fire off a C&D letter and provide provided Leslie with proof. So, I don't know. I'm just... So this has happened because, yeah. Look, if you want to read the Twitter, you can, but I just want to make sure that I'm careful on my page. That's all. Laurie said this lawsuit situation has ended, causing people to contact her ex and possibly lost custody of her daughter. According to the ex, she doesn't have custody of their daughter, so she's planning to go on LB's channel and do what she does best, lie. I never said Laurie was going to come on my channel and even discuss her ex. I said I was told certain things. I was planning on asking her about some stuff, but it would be up to her to answer the questions that I ask. So, as I said, then he writes this in response to that. I could actually give 0 to be on YouTube, but if Leslie's going to have a well-known abuser on her channel, why not come on myself with a mountain of Laurie's own words and text, emails, sworn court documents, criminal case, restraining orders, and back up with facts. So that's essentially as far as I got with that. So that's what's happening. So I don't know whether there has been something filed. I don't know. But, you know, there's you know, there's lots of theories out there. Oh, Frank says 10 minutes ago, LB just posted that she's speaking with her legal team now. All right. So, and I mean, that's up to LB to decide on how she goes and what she does. But I can't, you know. I don't really want, you know. Yeah. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to head off and go have some sleep. I'll be back early in the morning. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But it definitely, I mean, which is how he ended up on my tweet. Dude is insane. Cool. Yeah. People are starting to think it's a made for soap, online soap. Yeah, look, I don't know. There's lots of different theories about it. So anyway, I'm going to go off to bed myself. He's commenting anywhere LB has commented. Wow. Yeah. So look, thank you for joining me. So I'll be back here in 9 hours again, and we'll have something fun. Has nothing to do with the crazy world of the crystal ball. All right. Anyway, good night. I'll have a good day, and we'll see. Hopefully, I'll see some of you on the LB stream if it happens. Okay, catch ya.